of us who were arrested in 87 were very surprised that we were arrested at all. And in fact, a few months before we were arrested, my friend, my comrade, Vincent Cheng, told us that he was being followed by ISD. And all of us laughed at him and said, look, please don't be so paranoid, you are not so important as to be arrested. And then suddenly you were all taken in. So you must be wondering what I was doing in 87 to get myself into this big trouble. I actually was doing nothing. As a lawyer, I was a member of the Law Society, and I was in the committee looking into legislations. And so, you know, the Law Society has this duty to comment on legislations. And so my committee, I was a chairperson, commented on certain legislations, one of which really got the PAP government very angry was the amendment to the Newspaper and Printing Presses Act. And I think very soon the PAP government actually introduced, this act actually allows the government to gazette foreign publications which interfered in domestic politics, and straight away when they are gazetted, they can only sell a few hundred copies, and that doesn't make sense to business. So actually my committee presented a report to the council, and at that time the council president was Mr. Francis Xiao. And he took the report, I think it must have been submitted to the Attorney General, but I think the Attorney General didn't reply at all. Then he decided to publish a press release. And that got the government really angry. And immediately the Legal Profession Amendment Bill was set in motion. And by that bill, Mr. Francis Xiao lost his presidency. And the statutory duty to comment on legislations was taken away from the Law Society. So the Law Society becomes a dumb society. They cannot speak anymore about laws. Until today, they still cannot speak about laws. So, it is quite strange. Now, what was it like, when before the Operation Spectrum happened? I think Singapore was like Malaysia, very peaceful. In fact, more peaceful than Malaysia. In Malaysia, at least you all have protests on the streets. In Singapore, we don't have any such things. We're very, very orderly. And my friends and I didn't hold even a placard along Orchard Road or Shenton Way. But all the same, we got ourselves into trouble. So what happened to when the Operation Spectrum happened? 22 of us were arrested. Among the 22 were 4 lawyers. So the civil society was there very weak, and everybody was silent. And the Catholic Church initially held masses for the Catholic activists. But then the Archbishop got called up by the Prime Minister, Lee Kuan Yew. And then he became very silent. So everything is like a ghost town, nothing happened. Not like Malaysia, everybody jumping up and down, right? Now, luckily for us, actually, the NGOs here, Aliran, I remember Dr. Teo Soh Lung, Chandra Mustafa, and several other people spoke for us when we were arrested. And also the international organizations like KEMAS, Amnesty International, and several, even the ICJ, International Commission of Juries, International Bar Association called for our release, but there was no sound from the Law Society or from any civil rights groups in Singapore. So again, the silence was deafening, and it tells a lot about the state of the weak civil society then at that time. The Geylang Public Center, which I was a volunteer then, was shut down by the archbishop, and the priest in charge of the center left Singapore. And well, everything was just silent. So 87 actually wiped out the very weak civil society in Singapore. And I was released in September 87, and I quietly returned to my legal practice. I minded my own business. And 1 month later, Operation Lalang happened. I was actually devastated that the friends who spoke for us were now in trouble. And they couldn't do anything. I couldn't do anything. There was no group to call for your release and hold placards and go before the Malaysian embassy. We didn't have such guts or such a group to do this. So coming to the younger generation, they are IT savvy, and I think a lot of them are inspired by Dr. Chee Soon Juan from the Secretary General of the STP, and they who have been trying these civil disobedience tactics for a long time, but don't gain any ground until the year about 2005, if I'm not mistaken, where he protested at the World Bank IMF Forum, and he staged a 72-hour standoff at Hong Lim Park. And that was filmed by Martin C. That film you can find on YouTube. It's called Speaker's Corner. That film actually showed how the police harassed Dr. Chee and his sister. And it's a good film because nobody has actually filmed police actions against peaceful protesters. That really showed up that they were not reasonable at all. So I think that film also inspired the young people to take matters in, to reclaim some of their civil rights. So in the year 2006, the general election, it's 2 minutes, the internet was fully used for alternative news. So people, instead of reading the street signs, they go to the internet. Now, I have to conclude very quickly. But having said all that I have said, is the government prepared to allow Singaporeans to reclaim their civil rights easily? Maybe not, because in the year 2009, they enacted the Public Order Act, which restricts freedom of speech and assembly. One person also can be considered an unlawful assembly. And then people have been arrested under the ISA, sued for defamation, charged for contempt of court by Alan Shadrake. All these are very backward steps towards giving us more freedom. So, the Democratic Party members have also been charged for unlawful assembly. So actually the conduct of the government is not so great. And we have a long way to go before we achieve what you have already achieved for decades. Right, thank you.
Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to Band Social Club. Hello, I'm City Boy, and I hope all of you will give me your support by subscribing to Ben Social Club. Why? Because Ben Social Club is a platform for ordinary folks like us, all of us, so that our voices can be heard. Yeah. We may not be well spoken, but we speak from our hearts. So let us all support YouTube channel Ben Social Club. Thank you.